I think it's a marvelous thing, that visualization thing you did. Do y'all read about this or hear this? That you used to go up on Mulholland Drive and park
every night and
visualize seeing yourself as.
Yeah, I would visualize. I would.
This
visualize,
is when you were broke and poor,
you know, right? Having directors interested in me and people that I respected saying, you know, I like your work or whatever that is, and I would visualize things coming to me that I wanted or whatever.
This was in like 1987, 85.
Yeah. And I had nothing at that time, so it was like, but it just made me feel better. It made me, at that time, all it really was for me was kind of making me feel better. I would drive home and think, well, I do have these things, and they're out there. I just don't have a hold of them yet, but they're out there.
So didn't you write yourself a check? I heard that you did. Is that true?
I wrote myself a check for $10 million for acting services rendered, and I gave myself 5 years, or 3 years maybe, and I dated it Thanksgiving 1995, and I put it in my wallet and I kept it there, and it deteriorated and stuff. Just before Thanksgiving 1995, I found out that I was going to make $10 million on, I think it was Dumb and Dumber, maybe.
Dumb and Dumber, yeah. So you visualize yourself like. Visualization works if you work hard.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's the thing. You can't just visualize and then, you know, go eat a sandwich.
The body is very important, but the mind is more important than the body. We have to visualize what that body ought to look like in order to make it win.
The law of attraction is a tricky thing because there's lots of the people who talk about it are a little bit delusional or crazy. And I'm going to share with you what I think is my grounded perspective. My thoughts on the law of attraction is that I think that thoughts and our internal world can be in synchronicity with our outer world. And it's at times. And the practical application of this is that when we have positive thoughts, when we have a positive attitude, not only is that obviously better because we're going to just see more opportunities and have more energy, you know, for life. But on some like energetic or spiritual level, I also think, and I've experienced it because I've had these synchronicities, I don't like how lots of the people talk about law of attraction. With all of this, take it with a grain of salt and just know, like, my perspective is that at times, like on average, our internal world can be in synchronicity with the outer world. What kind of inspired this video is I recently read an article that I thought was great, and it talks about how so many people live either noticing everything that's wrong in their life or they're living in the past, and how we have the power to choose to live in the future at times through visualization. I really think this is huge. I read a book a while back called Psycho-Cybernetics that talks about when we imagine things and visualize things, our brain actually doesn't know the difference between our imagination and real life. And I think visualization can be extremely powerful, especially when it's kind of connected to the idea of the law of attraction. Imagine Elon Musk. I don't think he's ever in like an interview talked about visualization, but I just imagine how he lives his life. He's constantly imagining the future. Imagine when all the cars in America will be electric, imagining being on Mars, imagining this new truck. You know, he's constantly in the future in these visualizations, and he's like the best inventor of our time. There was an interview with Michael Phelps, the best Olympic swimmer of all time, and he said before he went into any swim race, he would visualize himself swimming that race like hundreds of times in his mind. And I really think that the practice of visualization should be something that every single human should be doing. So I think it's valuable, whether it's like after a meditation or in the middle of a meditation or even just on its own, is just to take a couple minutes every single day and visualize what you want your future to look like. Like if everything were to work out perfectly, what would that look like? And visualize that and feel that. And, you know, make this be a practice you do every day and just be a part of how you think. Is just constantly, you know, being present is very important, but it's also very important to imagine what an awesome future would be like. Now, sometimes I do kind of like wild visualizations like that are even like fantasy, like visualizing myself being in like a heaven realm and like synchronicity is always happening and just like magical stuff. Sometimes my visualizations are very practical. They're just like, I'm not feeling too good right now. Let's just visualize like the next 3 hours going well. Let's visualize this social event going well. I'm about to go to the gym. Let's visualize me having a good workout. Sometimes I visualize stuff like 5 years ahead. Like in 5 years, I'm gonna be, you know, have this many subscribers and be helping this many people. Sometimes, you know, I visualize what's gonna happen the next day. And sometimes it's like fantasy. Sometimes it's very realistic. And it's just like, what, you know, sometimes it's like, if every single possible thing went right, what would my life look like? Sometimes it's like, if my life was just a little bit better, let's just visualize and think about that. And, you know, I just think this is just a great practice that everyone should be doing, is just these visualizations. Even if it's just 2 or 3 minutes a day, you know, 5 minutes a day, sit down and tap into our ideal reality. And now the thing about this is, I think when we do this practice, not only does it have like benefits on our attitude and makes us feel good, like I said, but I also think it kind of taps into that law of attraction mindset, where when we're visualizing these things, we more tap into the place where we're going to take the proper actions, where the God or the universe or whatever term you like to use has those experiences meet us. So I think visualization is just a powerful tool to manifest the life and world that we want to live in. Now, I don't think when we visualize we should ever have any strain. You know, it should be like a natural thing. If you don't feel like visualizing, don't force it. And also don't get too attached to law of attraction ideas or visualization ideas. You could be doing the perfect visualizations or being very positive with your thinking, and bad things can still happen to you. You know, life is dynamic. There are other people and other factors and other forces in this world. So, you know, don't take this stuff too seriously. It's important to be detached, and also life may need to like teach us some lessons. I recommend checking out the article down below. Another great guy who talks about visualization is Joe Dispenza. Maybe worth YouTube searching if you don't know about him. But I just recommend you, my dear viewer, to incorporate even just 2-3 minutes of visualization a day. Sit down in your chair, back straight, and just, whether an insane fantasy or even if your life was just a little bit better, but just tap into what you would like your future to be like. And I think this is just a very powerful and effective practice that everyone should be doing. I appreciate thumbs ups, comments. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe and check out my other videos. I'll put out some kind of related videos on the outro screen and description. A big thank you to my Patreons. If my videos have helped your life, you know, consider supporting me with $1 a month. I'd really appreciate the help, and wishing everyone a great rest of your day. Peace out.